What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Comic Blast podcast. My name's Keenan. My co-host is Grayson, who's sitting right across from me.
I'm hungry.
I'm a hungry boy.
I really am hungry right now. I don't know why.
I kind of am too. We have a camera staring right at us right now, which is
we do
not intimidating at all.
You guys probably won't even see this. This is
No.
just for our own personal reasons, but we're doing a little demo run because we eventually want to start filming. So we're just gonna see how this turns out.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah,
I have a good feeling about it. Yeah, so we have a camera sitting right in front of us. We have a set kind of coming along together for us. And eventually we'll be able to do video of the podcast that will be on YouTube. So check out our YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can just search Comic Blast and you'll find us. Also, before we get into the show, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at comicblast_. We're staying pretty active on there and doing a lot of really cool things and giveaways. Speaking of giveaways, we have an Avengers Endgame giveaway going on right now.
we do.
Yes. So we have a post up on our Instagram. If you go to that post, it'll give you instructions for how to enter that giveaway. Win a free copy of Avengers Endgame when it comes out.
That sounds amazing.
I'm pretty pumped to
me.
get that movie.
Yeah, I'm ready to as well.
We've both seen it 3 times in theaters. Yeah, and I'm still just excited to see it again.
I think it was like, I remember when Infinity War came out on Blu-ray that I was like, I'd seen it like 2 or 3 times in theaters, and I was like, then it came out, oh yeah.
Do you remember that day?
Yeah.
So I went to Best Buy the day, it was the day it came out, right?
I think so,
Yeah. This is before we did the podcast, before we really hung out or anything like that. We would see like movies here and there.
Yeah.
But I walked into Best Buy, and out of nowhere, I just got this loud, like, or you just like aggressively grab my shoulder or like tap my shoulder, and I was like ready to defend myself. I'm like, here goes. I'm gonna die.
I prepared for this moment.
Yeah, and I turn around, it's this tall guy, Grayson, and
I am
tall. And you're picking up Avengers Infinity War on 4K.
Age of Ultron. No, I'm kidding. No, I was picking up.
Well, I was gonna say Endgame at first, and I was like, no,
that's not it.
Yeah, so you got Infinity War. And now here we are. We're about a month away from the release of Avengers Endgame. So
yeah,
it
comes out on digitally like
the 30th.
Yeah, which is it's on the 30th. I thought it was like a week from now, but okay.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah, I'm not getting it.
I wish it was
digital.
a week from. Like if it came out a week from now, I'd be tempted to get it digitally,
just
just because I want to watch it.
Yeah, that's how they get you though. Sorry, I'm yawning. I'm also tired as well because I worked this morning, but yeah, that's how they get you though, because people were like, I don't want to wait, and so then they buy the movie digitally and then they get it on Blu-ray when it already comes with a digital code anyway. So it's like
it's always the same price too.
Yeah.
Like you might as well just get the Blu-ray and then get your digital as well.
Exactly.
Or sell your digital and make money back.
That is true.
A ton of people do that nowadays.
Yeah.
They just buy the physical and then they sell the digital.
Yeah.
And they end up basically getting the physical for half the price they normally would.
Because I use digital way too much. I just watch so much.
Yeah,
stuff
you're
on
a
my
digital
phone.
person. We were talking about before the show how I'm not a digital person at all. Like I never use my codes. Like I usually give them to friends or I sell them. And we were talking about how you always get your digitals and use them.
I have like 107 movies digitally.
That's insane.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
It's crazy.
But I have like hundreds of Blu-rays. I probably have like close to 300 Blu-rays.
Yeah.
Just physical. But we were talking
oh my God,
about
that's so many.
Yeah. I got the Walmart exclusive Mysterio Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Really cool pop. And I didn't know this, but on the back there's like a little slip for digital code for like pretty much any Spider-Man movie. And it also had an option where you could select the Spectacular Spider-Man season 1 and 2. Yeah. Which is a really good cartoon.
So apparently a lot of people, that's their favorite interpretation of Spider-Man. Yeah. That's like their Spider-Man PS4 or their Ultimate Comics or whatever.
It's a little bit aimed towards a younger crowd, I think, as opposed to the 90s animated series.
But it apparently like perfectly adapts a lot of what Spider-Man stuff
Peter
is
Parker
about.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely see a lot of like classic Peter Parker in that show.
Yeah.
Which back to the digital thing, I ended up downloading it or whatever. I got it on Vudu, and then as soon as like I actually like redeemed the code, my internet went down for my entire house.
Tough luck.
And then I was like, this is why I don't do digital. Like this is just why I get physical every time.
It's the curse.
Yeah. It's whatever. I like the way I look at it is like people are always like, well, it's heading towards the digital now, and like it's convenient to have it whenever you want or wherever. And I do get that, but I usually kind of use that opportunity when I'm like out on the road or doing, away from a house where I don't have a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
In my movies, I use that opportunity to like catch up on like Netflix things and stuff I haven't really like
that's fair.
paid attention to.
Yeah, I use digital though. Like when I'm like traveling, I can download the movie and then I don't have to worry about not having any internet. So I have like The Dark Knight, Thor Ragnarok, and The Amazing Spider-Man downloaded on my tablet. Just like those are just some safe backup movies.
They're great movies.
Yeah, and so and I can download so many more that like I just have like I said, I have like over 100 movies digitally, and it's combined for my dad and I because he watches
contribute
literally. I don't think he watches any Blu-rays or discs
really?
or whatever. Like I'm like 75% digital, 25% physical stuff, but like most of the time I usually just do digital because it's more comfortable to just watch it in my bed, like on my iPad or something like that, rather than like having it on my TV, because my setup is weird with my TV. Like I can play video games very easily when I'm sitting like watching my TV, but I can't really be comfortable watching a movie. Like I shift and like fidget a lot, and so if I had like a couch or something, but it's just the way my room is set up, so it's always been like that. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, Spider-Man PS4, I think I officially need to be checked into rehab for that game.
Did you beat it like for the 19th time this week or something?
I didn't beat it again. I'm in the process of doing it again.
Yeah.
It blows my mind because I rarely have that much free time anymore.
Yeah.
But whenever there's just like a sliver of free time, I go straight to Spider-Man PS4.
I still need to play New Game Plus.
New Game Plus, yeah, you need to do that.
I'm just
on Ultimate.
I'm just like there's
tired.
so many different games that like I need to play. Like I get my friends like today at work I have a buddy and we play a lot of games together, and he was like, oh yeah, we need to go back and play this game. Oh, we need to play this game. And like Red Dead Redemption 2, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Rainbow Six Siege, like all of these other games, Minecraft, because I've been playing a lot of Minecraft recently. Yeah, I love Minecraft.
What do you think about the new Switch coming out? The Nintendo Switch Lite.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is perfect because I really want a Nintendo Switch. And so I so I have a group chat of friends that they literally every single one of them has a Nintendo Switch. But me. And I was like, guys, this is perfect. It's $100 cheaper. Like it's totally mobile, whatever. It has better battery life and everything. I'm like, this would be perfect. And they're like, no, like do not buy that.
What's wrong with it?
So they said, there's no way, obviously, because it's only mobile. There's no way to plug it into a TV. It has a smaller screen, and like it's just better off to save up the extra money to have it to have the dock and everything and play it on your TV. And the battery life is like barely any better.
Really?
So it's just like they said it's not really worth it. Plus, you won't have the best controller because you have to play with those things on the sides.
Attached to
so
it.
you if you're playing Smash Bros, for example, you can't play with. What many hardcore fans would say the GameCube controller is the best way to play it. That's how Smash pros play. My friend was like, no, you will not be able to be any good at Smash if you don't have a GameCube controller. And I'm like, I don't really like the GameCube controller. Like,
it's a little odd.
Yeah, like I think it's weird, and I know that's like heretical to say. Like some people are like, oh, that's how dare you say that about the GameCube controller, because that's like what people say is the definitive way to play Smash. But I'm like, I prefer just like what they call the Pro controller, which is essentially just an Xbox controller, but with Nintendo. And I'm like, I prefer that, to be honest, because it's simpler, it's easier to remember. Like that's just the Xbox controller. 360, Xbox One, both of those. I prefer the One controller, but like both of those controllers are just like are god tier. Like they're the best controllers. Yeah. What?
I'm like. I'm laughing over here because you have a sock on your microphone.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that. We're recording video now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's just like hanging there. He's using it as like a windscreen, the sock or whatever. And we're recording video, which is not going to we're not going to post this or anything like that. It's just for our
Maybe if we want to, post just like this little thing on there, we'll post it on social media or something.
I'm sorry. Like you were talking and I was just like, that sock was just dangling.
I was like, what's so funny about an Xbox controller? And then he just started looking at the little dangling
it's
sock.
the little things that really get to me. It's funny.
How much it messes up the
I was like, man, as you were saying that, I was like, God, we got to get you something to put on there before we actually start posting videos.
I feel like a lot of people think that we're way more professional than we actually are because you don't get to see the video part of it. Oh boy, yeah. But we're like, dude, it used to be really like we have pictures of what our original set used to be.
We'll post those eventually.
We need to post those, like the before and after.
Yeah.
It was terrible. So it was so jank.
it was like one little 2 feet, maybe, it's probably like 18 by 18-inch table.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. One little table. It's like a little square table. And then we just sat with that thing in between us with my one microphone.
Yeah.
In a basement.
Yeah.
Unfurnished or anything like that.
Yeah, nothing cool about it, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, and now that we have a second mic,
Humble
it makes
beginnings.
it like oh yeah, it was, my mom was like, we have to take a picture of this so whenever you get like
laugh.
yes, because whenever we get like a better set. So we're slowly like expanding this into making it way better and way more improved.
We actually have like more comfortable seats and now we have these cool LED lights, which are my favorite thing.
Yeah.
LED lights are just like perfect for anything, like setting up office or rooms or whatever.
I have this awesome setup for like all my Pop Funkos and stuff. And
Yeah.
I should take a picture of that or a video and like just and post that on social media or something like that. But it's pretty cool because it's got like my Thanos on his throne. I think it's like 40,
Thanos is probably the best part.
That thing, like I have him in the center, and then I have like all of the Spider-Man on the left.
Yeah.
And then all of like the other comic book related stuff on the right, although I have Iron Giant on there next to Superman because
Iron Giant is awesome.
I love Iron Giant.
God, man.
One of my favorite like if it's not Spider-Verse, it's Iron Giant, bar none. Those are my favorite animated movies of all time.
That's cool.
Yeah. I watched it so much as a child.
Sure.
So, and then like underneath that, I have a bunch of random stuff. So I have like the Demogorgon, I have Steve from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I have like Winston from Overwatch, even though I barely play Overwatch anymore. Like I just have all of these like random miscellaneous things. And then underneath that, I've got all my Star Wars characters, where I've got my, I believe it is the K-12 Briar blaster pistol, which is Kyle Katarn's blaster from Star Wars Legends. I have a replica of that because they put it in Star Wars Battlefront EA, the first one, as an unlockable gun. So they put it from Legends into canon, and then someone 3D printed it, and I got it right after Celebration.
So cool.
So my plan is to use my lightsaber that I have, my Saber Forge lightsaber. Have I ever shown you that before?
I don't think so.
No way.
Yeah,
I wish I could go get it right now,
Yeah,
but like anyway, it's legit. No, I've shown it to you because I remember. Anyways, whatever.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Yeah, my
you
blue
showed
lightsaber.
me actually in this room.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
And so, I was thinking for like Celebration, like, because I'd love to do like a cosplay or something like subtle, like I was thinking kind of like a mix between, kind of like a male version of like Jyn Erso, and then like a Jedi kind of thing. It's essentially like how I told that Cole and I on that one episode where we talked about Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't listened to that, that's still one of our best episodes, I think.
Yeah, it's really
audio
cool.
quality nowhere near as good as what this episode is, but it's still one of our best episodes.
It's
and
fun.
so, but Cole and I like thought about, I think maybe for Celebration, we still working on it. It's a ways out. We still have over a year.
Yeah.
So I have plenty of time to make like a cosplay to put it together. It's not going to be like heavy armor or anything. It's going to be pretty simple because it's like a Jedi on the run kind of thing.
Sure.
So, but then I've got all my Star Wars Pop Funkos, like underneath that. I've got Ahsoka. I've got a Porg that says "Eat Me." Remember when I showed you
That's
that
awesome.
and you straight up thought it was real?
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
I was like, oh my god, they
Yeah.
printed that?
Yeah.
I was like, who came up with that? But,
Yeah, I got
who wrote it on there?
I got a Porg. If my aunt is listening, maybe she'll get a kick out of this. So she got me a Porg Pop Funko for Christmas, and I don't think I ever actually told her this, but I hate Porgs. So I was like,
hold on, take me back to the day. What was it like unwrapping that in front of everybody?
well, so she wasn't there.
Ah.
But so my family was they sent it through the mail.
Oh, okay.
But my dad and my mom and my sister were there, and I unwrapped it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And my dad was there. He just laughed, because if everybody knows our history with the Last Jedi and stuff, and I was like, and I'm one of the people. I'm like, Chewie needs to eat a Porg.
Yeah.
I'm like, save yourself, Chewie. Give yourself some strength. You're getting old. You need
He
your food.
cooked it, man.
Yeah, he did.
What a waste.
I'm like, dude, who cares? That thing is dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's already over. Just eat the thing.
It's your protein.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, get over it. And so then I was like, well, I don't want to just get rid of this Porg Pop Funko because like I'm not. That's so mean. And I'm like, I know what to do. Get a Sharpie, and I wrote in very detailed, or not detailed, like I didn't make it like professional looking. I made it just look like kind of normal.
I mean,
but
it looks like it was printed
yeah,
on
it looks
there.
like it was printed on there.
Yeah.
And just on his bare white, like,
Belly.
furry belly, it says, "Eat me."
That's funny.
And so, and then I have that and a few other Star Wars Pop Funkos and stuff. And was that my chair? Did it
Yeah.
just pop?
No, that was me.
Oh, dude, you have to stop doing that. Whenever you kick my chair, I swear it's like
I think you're falling down.
because we have these like I don't even know if people should know this, but like we have these like tiles underneath our chairs because we don't have enough pegs. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like it's jank, but because and so there was one time it slid, but then it hasn't slid again. But like every time Keenan kicks it, I swear it's shifting, and I'm just gonna collapse at any moment.
I'm so sorry, dude.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die right here now. I won't die, so like, but it's just it scares the crap out of me.
Jeez, man, that is so funny to me. It's just face whenever I accidentally hit it. You like legitimately think like, oh god,
I like look down. I'm like,
down. God, that's so funny. All right, so normally on the podcast we do like comic book and movie news and stuff. This week has just been
a slow news week.
Something that did kind of come out, which are still technically rumors, I think, was that Millie Bobby Brown could possibly be cast in the Eternals.
Wasn't that news like months ago?
I didn't know it.
I heard about it. It was a rumor.
Yeah, I had no idea. I saw it
maybe
on Twitter.
Maybe it was
wow.
something about like her being Squirrel Girl or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, that's weird.
But I don't know. It's and anyways, I saw something about that.
She's a great young actress, and man,
she was really good in
up.
Stranger Things season 3, which both of us finished. I don't want to spoil anything on that because people I know don't watch those fast as we do.
Yeah.
Even then, like I didn't watch it as fast as other people. Like my sister was like, "Have you watched finished season 3 yet?" I'm like, "No, I'm only halfway through." Like God, because she watched it all in the first day, and I was like,
yeah.
And I was like,
I wish I had time.
I don't have time to do that. So I watched like an episode a night for like a week. Maybe
it took me about a
days.
week to do it. Yeah.
Because I watched like 2 the first day and then 2 the next day and then like one.
Pretty much exactly the same for me. Like it took me a while to kind of get through that, but it was great. It was
I really.
It's probably the best season.
For me, it's like I felt I really really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it a lot more than season 2 because I thought season 2 was.
Took a step back.
It
was boring.
I think season 2 was boring. It was kind of rushed. There was one episode that was really bad. Like was that episode 7? It was the Lost Sister.
Yeah.
Like
oh my god.
At first I thought I actually really liked that episode, and then I thought about it more, and I was like, I hate that episode. Yeah. It was like what some people felt about The Last Jedi.
It was yeah. It seemed like a lot of characters were kind of just every character pretty much took a step back in that season.
Yeah. I just don't I felt like it was more of just like let's pump out a second season really quickly because season 1 blew up, right? Season 1 was like it took them a long time. They really thoughtfully planned out that.
That was great too.
And then season 2 came out, and then it was like, all right, let's get this out. And then I watched that, and I was like, man, this doesn't feel nearly like it lives up to what season 1 was, you know?
Definitely.
Now it's been well over a year since season 3 came out, right?
2.
Or season 2, I mean. So wait, no.
It was almost 2 years. It
almost
came out
2.
in like
It came out October 2017. So yeah, almost 2 years. I can tell they really took their time more with this season, especially with the writing and everything. And season 3 blew me away.
Yeah, that's good.
I still think I like season 1, and I think this is just purely subjective, but I think I like season 1 slightly better than season 3, purely just because I just loved that season so much, and it's just like it's so key, you know. But season 3 is like if it's not tied with it, or if it's not slightly underneath it, like it's right there with it. Because I finished season 3 and I was like, wow.
Season 1 is interesting because you're kind of like getting introduced into everything, whether it be the characters, and you're trying to figure out things as it goes.
Right.
And I think that's why it's like really cool. I felt like season 3 was very focused on the characters a lot more than season 1. Like season 1 was like a lot of mystery and trying to figure this out.
Because season 1, like I'm thinking about it, like certain characters that get really developed, and it's like the core characters of that season were really, I would say, I'm trying to think like the number one, because a lot of the kids,
it was like Will and Elle were the two. Ones.
Like there wasn't a whole lot of character development with like characters like Mike and Dustin and things. Nancy was a big character, I would say.
Oh yeah.
And I think she's always been a big character. Every single season she's been.
I didn't like her as much in season 3.
Yeah, I didn't as much.
That character kind of took
the biggest thing for me that I loved about season 3 was, honestly, I don't think there was a sub, because they kind of split up,
Yeah.
I don't think there was a subplot, and I'm not going to get into spoilers, but like the way it split up is it's split up into the kids, then it's split up into the Hopper and Joyce, and there's a whole plot going on with them, and then it's split up into Dustin, Robin, Steve, and then Lucas's little sister, who I hate, Erica. And we'll get into I hate her. She's the worst.
She's so funny.
I just do not like her character.
Yeah.
She's just so annoying. Nothing wrong with the actress, but I just like her character.
She didn't really bother me that much.
She just got on my nerves.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's just because I have a little sister or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even my sister, though, she's like my little sister that I am referring to. She hated her too.
Really?
So, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, I love Erica," and I was like, "No."
Yeah.
But I did really like Robin.
Great character.
I thought she was a great character.
Did you freak out when you found out she was Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter?
What?
You've seen that already, right?
No.
How did you not know this?
Like I know
everybody
that
on Twitter has been talking about
Maya Hawke, so there's no way.
That's Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke's daughter.
You're messing with me right now.
I swear to you.
All
Dude,
right.
you knew that. There's no way you did.
I literally
it was
did not
all over
know.
Twitter for like weeks.
I did not hear anything
I
about
bet you your
this.
girlfriend knows it.
She hasn't watched Stranger Things that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
him.
Maya Hawke. Let's look here.
Just
guys.
think about how she looks.
Oh yeah, but
she looks just like both of them combined. She's like a perfect
no
blend
way.
of them.
Wait, I didn't even know that Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman were a thing.
They were married like in the late 90s, and I think they got divorced in 2005.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they did a movie together.
I didn't realize. I thought she was like 25. She's 21. She's only like.
She's very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
That's wild. Crazy. I know. I seriously
Dude,
did
she's
not
like
know
a perfect
that.
blend between
She is
both
though,
of them.
because like you said that, I just thought it was somebody just making that up, right?
No,
It's like
no.
her last name happens to be Ethan Hawke, or not her. Her last name happens to be Hawke. She kind of looks like Uma Thurman. Kind of looks like Ethan Hawke. I'm like, but no, you're being serious. Like,
Yeah.
that's actually weird.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
It is.
She's
cool.
talented.
Yeah, she really is good.
Did you see the thing going around where people are fan casting her as Spider-Gwen?
Oh wow.
Pretty cool, right? I dig it. Dye her hair blonde.
And she's also, I mean, well, the thing is like like in the MCU.
I see her very much. She's very similar to the Spider-Verse interpretation of.
Oh, yeah.
Gwen Stacy, like she's kind of like that.
Yeah.
That Gwen Stacy's kind of like punk rockish.
Yeah.
Edgy, and she could really pull off that.
Oh man.
I don't think I don't think Spider-Gwen will probably ever be in the MCU.
No.
But I could see some sort of live action version of her happening.
Maybe,
the way
yeah.
that Sony's kind of going at it with.
That's pretty cool. I actually really
movies.
like that. And I've been reading I read the first issue of
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen because I recently got some new comics, and she fits into that pretty well too.
Think so?
Yeah. Pretty much the only difference between Spider-Gwen from the comics and the movie Spider-Verse
Yeah.
is literally her haircut
Yeah.
and the gap in her teeth. Like what they said is, I remember when they were making Spider-Verse, they wanted to make Gwen seem more relatable and less perfect.
Yeah.
And in the comics, Gwen is like this perfect
angel.
Yeah, like it's pretty much. Yeah. Like I mean, like think Emma Stone. It's like she's like doesn't like she has like really no flaws. And so then what they did is they wanted to make her essentially like a female Peter Parker, in the sense that she's not this, like Peter Parker is like, he's not this, well, in some comic interpretations, Peter Parker is an absolute like hunk, and sometimes it makes me like,
I still don't understand that.
I'm like, how was he picked on so much if he was so attractive?
Even like the live action versions of like Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're all like pretty good looking dudes.
Yeah.
Like except for like
Tobey Maguire. I'm
he was
like
the most dorky.
Yeah.
But like
Tom Holland
if
and
you walked
Andrew
into
Garfield.
a high school Tom Holland, the way he's dressed as like Peter Parker in the movies,
Yeah.
every girl would like him.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't make sense that he's the one who's picked on.
It's an old stereotype, It's hard to
Yeah.
adapt that. Like, that's why I say Andrew Garfield is like, he's not really like picked on. He's just kind of like I'm sure there's girls in that school that like him, but he's just kind of an outcast. That's why I really like Andrew Garfield's interpretation. But so when they did Spider-Gwen though in Spider-Verse, they gave her the gap in her teeth, they gave her the freckles, and then obviously messed up her hair to make her, which is a cool thing. And so she's got more of a more relatable vibe, essentially. And that's why I think a lot of girls really like Spider-Gwen, and why we love Spider-Gwen. Like,
for sure, yeah.
One of my favorite comic book characters nowadays.
It's just so?
It's such a like. I'd say she's probably, if she's not my favorite like female comic book character, she's probably like close to it.
Boy, that's really tough.
That is hard to say. I
Think
never
of,
thought
like,
about that.
Yeah, top female characters. One of mine
Yeah.
is always going to be Storm, probably.
Storm. That's cool.
Shoot. Obviously, Spider-Gwen would probably be up there.
For me, I've always liked Janet Van Dyne in the comics. I really like Wasp.
Yeah.
And I also really like some of the X-Men. Like, I always liked Jean Grey.
Rogue.
Sue Storm. Okay, that's actually one that I really like. Sue Storm is one of my favorites.
Oh, true. Yeah. Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Seems to be like more of like the team-oriented ones that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I was never a big Black Widow fan in the comics. In the comics, she's a lot different than she is in the movies. Like, she's kind of a jerk in the comics.
Yeah.
At least traditional Black Widow was. Like, and also she had like do you remember Black Widow in Web of Shadows?
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
I hated
dude.
her.
Yeah.
She was she's just such a jerk to Spider-Man and stuff like that.
It's crazy how like those games incorporated the most random characters.
I thought it was like it's
the-
almost like the perfect version of like incorporating like external forces with like Spider-Man's world.
Yeah.
Because you have like Rhino and Vulture and Electro and Venom, like all of these Black Cat, Kingpin, all of these villains and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That are within Spider-Man's world. But then you have like Shield, Black Widow, Moon Knight, Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Gosh, there was a few other ones. Like it's crazy that like they do all of that stuff, like and they combine all these things. But I remember like the Fantastic Four were like unavailable in that thing, like it's because they were like on a different mission, and then Tony Stark was like out of town or whatever. So like
I'm still waiting for the Baxter Building to be in Spider-Man PS4.
that's one big thing is I'm like that's always the biggest
Like, why
thing for me.
can't they just do that?
It's weird because I'm like you can do the Avengers, but you can't do. From what I've heard, it's always about the rights, and
Okay, it has less
even
to
with
do with-
movie stuff, it's like the movie stuff still affects the game stuff.
That's so weird. So they can like take they can make the suits, but they can't just put it in a building.
Yeah, or at least that's from what they heard. But like, see, what happened is Spider-Man PS4 also came out before the Fox thing, right? Before it fully closed, and also before the Fantastic Four returned to comics. So it was kind of a double
I saw some
whammy
new
right
Fantastic
there.
Four comics today.
Yeah.
Or not today, yesterday in the comic.
I really
book
want to
shop.
start getting back into the Fantastic Four stuff. Like, I really
It's-
want to read Future Foundation, like just even some of the older stuff. But it's like that's always the hardest thing. Is I think people get overwhelmed with comics. Is like where to start.
It's almost
Kind of goes back to
impossible
that Spider-Man
tell.
thing.
Like we talk about it endlessly about the amount of Spider-Man comics that are out there right now, different storylines, and then they're gonna launch a brand new one with J.J. Abrams, which I'm definitely gonna buy day one. But
I actually really want to read that.
yeah,
one.
but they're like, so I'll walk into the comic book shop and there's multiple versions of so many different heroes.
Not even
Like,
just Spider-Man. Like it literally, Spider-Man's probably the biggest, but there's like Batman, Spider-Man, and Batman are probably the two biggest. I'd say
definitely Batman. Yeah. I think Marvel does it the most out of everyone.
Yeah. They go
There's, like,
crazy with their stuff.
too many
From their
storylines.
crossovers to like from like multiple versions of one hero.
Well, they're doing the War Realms now, which is like the
I've heard-
big thing. But like it's supposed to be this crossover between all of the heroes that are taken from like current comic books going on, but the continuity is like all over the place. Like the way that the stuff that happens in the
I heard
War
it like
Realms,
doesn't really affect anything or whatever. Like it's not.
not at all. It doesn't affect their individual storylines whatsoever. But they're taking those characters and putting them in there.
Yeah.
So they just got so much going on. But I mean, even though I complain about it, I told you that I'm reading the Symbiote Spider-Man.
Yeah, you did tell me about
storyline,
that.
which I started it on digital, and I was like, "This is getting interesting."
Give me the rundown on that. I just as someone like I don't feel like people will care as much. Like what is the
so
plot
you're not really gonna care that much until you get to this most recent issue.
Yeah.
But
How many issues are there? 5?
There's 4 right now.
4. Okay.
The way that it's kind of got Mysterio and Kingpin working together.
Yeah.
And Kingpin kind of like they're trying to get like a sample of the symbiote actual suit. Black Cat's also a big part of it too.
Okay.
So they're trying to get a sample of this thing. And this isn't really a spoiler because it's on the front cover of the newest issue. But the symbiote actually ends up attaching to Mysterio. So he becomes like
That's
Symbiote
crazy.
Mysterio. So the way that kind of ends is really intriguing. And like I said, you probably won't care that much until you get to this 4th issue because it's a lot of kind of like setup. So now I'm like really invested in it. I'm like, that's something new that hasn't really been done.
Yeah.
Seeing Mysterio with symbiote, like how does that work?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool. And I'm really curious to see like where they go moving forward with it.
Where does this fit in the timeline? Is because I've heard.
I don't really know.
So does Spider-Man have the symbiote then?
He already does.
Okay, and so is this like a second time that he's like? Is this when he originally got the symbiote, or is this like way like he got it? Because I know recently he got it again.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, is this like a different thing?
I don't know how that's all kind of like connecting.
Okay.
I just was like, let me pick this up and see what it's about.
Yeah.
I didn't even pick it up. I just read it digitally.
Yeah. Did you buy it? Like buy it digitally?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a more convenient way, I think.
How much was it per issue?
It's like $2.99, I think it was, or $3.99.
Okay.
$3.99. Yeah.
Per issue?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's still so much.
It's a little bit frustrating too because you feel like you're not getting the amount of content worth.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like there's only a few pages within the comic where you're like, oh, this is interesting, versus everything else just like random dialogue.
That's what I hate about like reading comics by issue is you can't really keep up with the ongoing story, and by the time it's finished, like you've heard about it through music. If something really big happens, like remember when Captain America became when he was Hydra, like we all heard about that.
The day that released, it was like trending on Twitter.
Exactly. That was like 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it was 17 actually.
I'm pretty sure it was 16 because I remember it was in the summer and I picked it up, and that was also when Justice League Rebirth started. Those are the two biggest issues. I picked up the first issue of Rebirth.
You're right. It is 16.
Yeah. And anyway, I remember I was like, it's just so hard to keep up with all this stuff. And like, I know some people who collect even all of the physical copies, like, and I'm like, that would be like, there's people who just bins and bins and bins. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Personally, this is my philosophy on comics. Like, if it's something that's really big, I don't even know if like I'll get it digitally. Like I'll buy the standard issue, and I have a very small collection of select issues.
Yeah.
Just some from my childhood and just some of the really big ones, that I think could be worth money or something like that.
I like to get number ones of new stuff. Yeah. That's really it.
But yeah, exactly. But then when it comes down to later the storyline is finished, I want the whole collection, or at least volume by volume. Yeah. So like if it's, for example, there was the Darth Vader Charles Soule run that was it was a 25 issue series. It was a limited run, so it wasn't like a 12 issue mini series or anything like that. It was a 25 issue run, so it went over a span of a year or two, I think, and I believe it has like 3 volumes. But they're also coming out with one book for it, like a hardcover, which is really nice. And Cole, for example, he has the other Darth Vader run, which is from what I understand, I think it was about 50 issues. So it's a big book. It's a lot of content, but it's like it's got to be 2 inches thick, But he got that, and it was about $50. But still, like, you're thinking about that, like, you're saving so much more money. Actually, I think it was about $100, but it went down on sale really drastically. You can get it for like $40 or $50 now, because comics go on sale pretty fast, especially physical ones or older runs even. And so like those bigger comics like that, I love to get the actual collections for. So that's why, like, slowly but surely, I'm collecting all of the volumes of Ultimate Spider-Man. Now they do have like the compendiums or like the Ultimate collections, which are like these big thick hardcovers, but those make it really hard to read. Like you can't take those on the go with you and read those effectively. It's like you'd have to read it on a podium, and I'm like, I don't. It's purely just for like having it on your shelf to be like, look at this big book,
Right.
I'd rather have a storyline and a universe that I really care about with Ultimate Spider-Man. I'd rather have those 6 to 7 issue volumes that just collect that one arc, because that's how they do them. They do them by story arc, which is usually for like 5 to 7 issues. So like the first one obviously was like how he got his powers. The second one, he was dealing with Green Goblin. Third one was Kingpin. Fourth one was Doc Ock. Fifth one was Venom, or fifth one was maybe Kraven. Sixth one was Venom. It's like different things like that,
Yeah.
And so it goes through these different these storylines and stuff. Like the one that I just picked up is called the Ultimate Six, which is based obviously around the Sinister Six, but in that universe, and also has to do with the the Ultimates, or which is the Avengers of the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
They call them the Ultimates. So, excuse me. Sorry, my voice was getting raspy there, like because I was just talking so long. But yeah, so I like to actually collect those things, and so. So yeah, it's like weird. I know there's like comic book subscription services, but it's like there's Comixology, and then there's like the Marvel one, there's the DC one, there's a few other ones, and I'm like, I don't know really where to start, and I really just don't. I don't read comics often enough, or I'm not intrigued by all of these different comics to get like a subscription service.
There's just too much to pick and choose from,
Right?
and there's not enough quality, I think, out of all of the storylines that are out there right now.
Right.
I mean, some of them are fine, but it seems like they're constant. Like for example, Captain Marvel. God, man, that series has been like rebooted to death. Like they're constantly
Really?
restarting that. Here comes another #1 Captain Marvel. Like it seems like every couple months now, there's like a new #1 Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And they're like
they're
trying to make it
really
stick.
annoying.
Yeah, they're trying to make it stick, but it's just not. For whatever reason,
I'm worried about like Captain Marvel as a character, to be honest, especially like just with the movies and the comics and stuff. Like I feel like she's apparently, so after Civil War II, people hated Captain Marvel. People went from like, oh, they really like Carol Danvers as a character, to like what the basis of Civil War II was essentially, it was Tony Stark versus her. And so it wasn't Captain America, even though Steve Rogers was on one side and Sam Wilson was on the other.
Yeah.
There was a whole thing about that. Miles Morales was on one side, Peter Parker was on the other. Mm-hmm. It's like inverses, you know.
Of course.
I didn't really hear too much about it because I heard Civil War II was kind of meh, and they were trying to. And
I never got into it.
And it's hard to capture the essence of the original storyline.
Right.
You know, it's like the original kind of does it better sometimes. You rarely get a sequel or a follow-up story, like trying to redo that. You know? Like they were fighting over a mutant that could predict the future, or like could see things before they happened. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember who believed in what, but I remember one of them believed it's kind of like Minority Report in the sense of like the morality of it. But like it's like they didn't know if it was like confirmed to be the future or not, and so one of them wanted to use the mutant to stop crimes and stuff before they happen, while the other thought, no,
just
this
let
is
it
like,
happen, whatever.
Like the punishment comes after the crime, as Captain America says in the Winter Soldier. So it's like, and it kind of has to do with like, I guess even like with the Winter Soldier thing of like the helicarriers. It's essentially like spying on people, and like just like they haven't done it yet. So
like
it's
that
like
line when Steve is like, by holding a gun to everyone's head and calling it
it's
protection or something like that, or freedom.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact line, but it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like after that, people really did not like
Carol.
Yeah, Carol Danvers as a character.
I honestly don't know many people that like Carol, like hardcore comic book collectors or readers. I don't know many people that like Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
I know people who like prefer the like Miss Marvel interpretation of her.
Yeah, people actually really like Kamala Khan a lot, and I'm actually really interested in her character because she's like, currently she's like the modern day like female, she's like almost like the female face of Marvel, like because like she's also, what makes her character so interesting is that she's from a Muslim family and stuff, and like, but she also is like a teenage girl, kind of like Peter Parker in the sense, and it's like she has to deal with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to just confirm to remember like which one believed in what. I don't know.
It seems like Tony Stark would choose the side of like spying on people.
Yeah.
It just seems like a Tony Stark thing to do.
See, the thing is, I actually think it was the opposite. I actually really want to know this. There's like a Marvel database thing right here. Let me try to read this. Event synopsis. Not a mutant, an Inhuman. An Inhuman precog named Ulysses Kane who had recently been brought into the Inhumans, helped save the day from a celestial destructor when Medusa used the information from a vision that he had to warn the Avengers. During a celebratory party, the heroes discovered the source of the Inhumans' knowledge. Captain Marvel wanted Ulysses to work with the Ultimates in order to preemptively tackle disasters. So, yeah, Captain Marvel wanted to prevent it.
That surprises me.
But Iron Man wanted to oppose the idea, suggesting it was dangerous to take his visions for granted for several reasons. So they're more of like precognitions rather than actual confirmed things, like almost like possibilities. So he said like he didn't want to use it because it's not set in stone, you know? So people really didn't like Captain Marvel after that, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff, and I didn't really get into it. I'd actually like to read it just to see how it is. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis, who I'd say is probably my favorite comic book writer of all time. He's phenomenal. Like he wrote the entirety of Ultimate Comics. He created Miles Morales. Yep. Like at this point he's a comic book legend.
Right.
He writes a lot of I think he's doing a lot of DC stuff now. Speaking of DC, totally off topic, but I've been in such a DC mood lately.
I miss DC so much.
Yeah. I'm actually really glad that I'm like in this DC phase right now. Like I really want to install the Arkham games again on my Xbox and play through those. Like I read Superman, not Red Sun. I read Superman All-Star, or All-Star Superman technically, this past week, and I was like got really into it. And then I was like, man, I want more Superman comics. Like, we have a fly, like, flying around me. It's
literally been attacking me.
Yeah, it's been attacking us this entire time. It's just the tiniest little fly. But then I was like, I want more Superman comics. And then I started listening to the Man of Steel soundtrack and John Williams' Superman theme. And I was like, this is so good. Like, I love Superman. Like, whoever says Superman is not a good character, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, it's a tough character for some people to understand, I think. It depends on how you look at your characters. Are you looking at them in terms of, like, strength and weaknesses?
Yeah.
Like, are you thinking about powers and stuff like that?
See, the thing is there's a lot of workarounds. Is like Superman, his villains match his strength. You know? That's the thing.
For the
and
most
it's like,
part.
and I think what's interesting about Superman is the duality of him and Clark Kent. Also, what it means for him to be a human and like. And all of that, and All-Star Superman really tackles a lot of that stuff. I also find his origin really fascinating, where I relate to Superman in the sense that, like, from where he's from, where he's like he's kind of a nobody, you know.
Yeah.
And that he wasn't really like wasn't super popular like growing up. Like same thing with Peter Parker, but in the sense that like, you know, he's from a more rural area, like
that's definitely us.
He was grown definitely. He was raised by really good people and things like that. And so that's what I've always like related to him. I remember there was one time there's a school that Keenan and I live around, and I used to go here. But for my first year, I remember like I remember I was in my biology class, and there was some girls next to me, and like I was just and this is when I had a little bit of longer hair, but like I have a Superman like curl like with my hair, like because I have a part and everything, and so I have a widow's peak, and so it causes a Superman curl, and I've always been called like that's my Superman curl or whatever. Yeah. And these one girls like they saw that, and I had my glasses on and everything, and they were like, you know who you remind me of? And I was like, what do I remind you of? And I was like, Clark Kent. I was like, you look like Superman. And I was like, well, thanks, I guess. I was like, that's pretty cool. I was like, I've gotten that a lot, and I always get that or like Peter Parker, and they're like, oh yeah, we could see that too. And I was just like, yeah, well, it happens. I guess.
That must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've said, and this is for the camera, maybe we'll see, but like I've always said that Keenan looks like Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
So
I don't see that at all. Like, I don't see Matt Murdock in me at all.
Well, see, like I don't see Superman in me at all.
Oh, okay.
But I don't see, and I don't. Most of the time, I don't see Peter Parker in me either, as much as I relate to him. Yeah. So it's like. Maybe we're just humble people or whatever. I too am extraordinarily humble.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love that meme.
Speaking of Daredevil, I think I mentioned on the last episode, but I got my mom into Daredevil.
Dude, I saw your tweets.
Yeah. I'm kind of nervous to tell her anything.
You didn't tell her?
No, I haven't talked to her yet about it.
Oh no.
So my mom, like, she doesn't hate superhero stuff, but it's really hard for her to get into it. Yeah. And like after probably 2 years, I've been begging her to watch Daredevil because I'm like, you'll
justifiably
enjoy it.
so.
Yeah, I'm like, you'll enjoy it. It's not like every other like superhero show.
Yeah.
So she's about halfway through season 2 right now. She loves it.
Yeah.
She thinks the Punisher's awesome, everything like that. And so we were like talking about it, and then as I was like leaving the house, she was like, "When does season 4 come out?"
Oh no!
And I'm like, "I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it."
Why would you say that? Why would you
because
just tell
this
her?
Is what's gonna happen? She won't finish it if I tell her that there's no season 4. She'll stop watching it.
Really?
Yeah, because she'll be like, "Well, I don't want to get invested in it," and like So I'm just like, if I say anything to her, she's gonna be like, "I'm not watching it anymore."
Well, at least season 3 has like a
pretty good finale.
A pretty definitive ending. It does have some cliffhangers with like Bullseye and stuff like that, but like for the most part, season 3.
It's not like an Infinity War cliffhanger where like
you're like, oh my gosh,
like,
and then
what's gonna happen?
You'll never see again.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's rough.
Yeah, I kind of feel guilty a little bit, but at the same time, she's loving the show, so it makes me excited.
So she's on season 2 right now.
Yeah, she got past the part where Daredevil and Punisher are on the roof.
Yeah.
And I don't remember where she's at right now, but
it's been a long time since I've watched Daredevil, like the first and second season.
The first season I think it came out in 2015.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God, 4 years ago.
And then season 2 came out 2016, and then last season came out Defenders, and then last season came out.
Yeah.
Last year.
Which the Defenders I actually kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like perfect, but
I also don't want to watch, like, I need to watch Punisher season 2.
Why haven't you done that
dude,
yet?
Okay,
dude?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Dude, it's so good. It's actually
know.
really good.
I know. But the thing is, it makes me sad.
See, exactly. That's what my mom's like perspective is too. Like, you kind of don't want to watch it because you know that it's just like the end of it.
Personally, I think John Bernthal and Charlie Cox will come back to reprise their role.
If they don't show, like, if Marvel decides to bring these characters back but not with the same actors and like continue those storylines, I'll be so pissed off. I probably won't even watch it.
I don't even feel like, for me, it doesn't even have to be like the same one, you know. It could be like it doesn't have to be like from that show. Like, it could just be those like at the very least,
I need it to be the show.
Yeah,
I have to.
Yeah,
because
they have to tone Daredevil down though. That's the thing.
I don't think they have to. Like, they just need to like do something. Just find another like studio or whatever streaming service to partner with.
Yeah,
and keep the show going.
I mean, I think if they did, from what I've heard, like if they did like a Disney Plus like adult section thing or whatever, that sounds really like weird for Disney. I don't think they'll ever do that. But like, you know, if they limit it off from the kids or something like that, then they could. But then the thing is I feel like if it's not part of Disney's streaming service, then it's not really part of the MCU, because it's like you've got the Runaways and you've got like all of the Netflix stuff, and then you've got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and you've got like the Ghost Rider Hulu thing happening, and it's like all of those feel like they're in the MCU, but they're not really, like, and there's always this battle online of like people were saying, oh, it is in the MCU, and then the people are like, where does it ever like really affect the MCU? Like, they never affect each other. Like, yeah, sure, they say they're in the same universe and like and all of this stuff.
They just say that to make fans happy, but they know that neither storylines will bleed into one another.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd love to see all of those characters come back. I need to get back on Jessica Jones, because I didn't watch season 2.
I never really cared for Jessica Jones.
See, I really liked the first season.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I
liked her in Defenders.
Yeah.
I liked all the characters in Defenders, actually.
I actually also started. I remember when I watched Iron Fist season 2, I started it and I was like, oh, it's actually.
I remember you were telling me to get into it.
Yeah.
You were like, you should watch it. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, season 2 actually.
And then it got canceled like right after.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, definitely not watching
Iron Fist the first to go.
Yeah.
And then it was.
But when that happened, it was like, oh, that kind of makes sense, you know?
Oh yeah.
You're like, yeah, it wasn't that great.
Season 1 was like, I enjoyed it because it was with the Defender stuff, and like I really like Iron Fist, but like it was a struggle to get through.
Yeah, I never even finished it.
And then Luke Cage season 1 was really good up until like
that character died.
I mean, is anybody gonna watch Luke Cage now? Like. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's like there's a very integral character that dies throughout and like halfway through the show, and then I was like, bruh. Like I was just so
and everything
upset.
kind of got boring after that.
Yeah. And then I heard season 2 was just hot garbage, but I really don't know about that.
There's a season 2 of Luke Cage?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I didn't even know that.
It came out before like all of the other season 2s.
Oh yeah, I'm so disconnected from that character.
Yeah.
Like,
I see. I love Luke Cage as a character. So like, I remember. Man, that was.
I don't really love him. I just like when he popped up. Like if he ever interacted with like Spider-Man or Daredevil, then I was like, oh cool. Like I liked him but
I like playing as him in Ultimate Alliance. That was one of my favorites. He was just really cool to me.
Yeah.
Then obviously Daredevil was amazing, and
Daredevil's the one, like, it's the one character that they have to find a way to bring back. It just doesn't make any sense.
For me, it's like it has to be Daredevil and it has to be Punisher because I think they're so important to the Marvel universe.
There's got to be some sort of like plan. I wonder if like Marvel like kind of like bought out their contract with Netflix.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what if they for Phase 4 they were like, let's get these characters?
It just doesn't make sense to me why Netflix would have. It doesn't make sense for them to kind of forfeit their rights to the character.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for me for them to just hold on to it and then just not make another season or like take a break.
Yeah.
Or do something different.
See, what I thought they were going to do with Netflix was it's like, all right, Luke Cage is doing kind of poor. Iron Fist is doing poor. Let's save the budget of those and put them into one show, Heroes for Hire. That would have been
a big thing that was going around.
Yeah, that was like, okay, they're probably going to do that. And then Jessica Jones, it's doing well enough that they'll probably keep. And then Punisher got such a big demand, obviously like they have to. And Punisher season 1 was amazing. I heard amazing things about season 2, which I am going to watch season 2 at some point.
Really good.
Like I just have to. I'm someone like I can't force myself to watch a show. So like whenever and so people were like you have to watch this or whatever. I'm like, I'll get around to it when I'm like sitting there and I'm like, I feel like watching Punisher.
Right.
Which sometimes that could take a while, but it happens eventually.
Yeah.
And then Daredevil, obviously, like, there's no way. I'm like, why would they ever cancel that?
That's the one that just, like, blows my mind.
But wasn't it because, like, the viewership was so down for season 3?
They said it was down, but it still doesn't make sense to me. Out of all the garbage that they keep putting back up on Netflix, I mean, like, you would cut the budget from something else and put it towards Daredevil.
You have Marvel characters for crying out loud.
It blows my mind. But the thing is, they didn't really market it that much before the release, and I'm wondering if they knew that they were going to cancel it before.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really heavily marketed.
I don't think they'll ever say that they bought out a thing unless...
I have to believe that Marvel secretly like...
I'm wondering if that's what it was. Yeah. That actually would make a lot of sense. They bought out the contract for those characters, and then they were like, Phase 4 is going to be the reintroduction of... like these characters, like bringing in these Netflix characters and stuff.
But I don't want movies for them. Either.
I don't either. I just want them to be. I want them to be in other people's movies.
I'm to the point where I desperately want Daredevil so badly that I don't even care if he's in another movie with other characters. I'm just like, give me that character back.
I think it just makes the most sense. Like inevitably, I think it would be really cool whenever Peter Parker gets to that college age, and if we are led to believe that it is going to be 3 trilogies of Spider-Man movies. Really, dude, get Kingpin back. Get Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin back.
Yeah, they need that.
Spider-Man Daredevil team up. Get Deadpool in there. Team Red. Boom. There you go. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I don't care so much about Daredevil, or not Daredevil, Deadpool.
Yeah. I still think it'd be cool because, like, in the comics, they're known as, like, Team Red. So they've got, like, the Daredevil, Spider-Man, and Deadpool.
I'm always, like, of the thought process that, like, some things are just meant for just being in comics.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think just because it's been done in the comics that it makes it good for, like, film or, like, TV shows. I think what they've done with Daredevil, like story-wise and character-wise, just being able to like watch snippets as my mom is like watching it, I'm just like, God, I'm like, this is so good. It doesn't make sense for them to cancel this, and it's a really refreshing show to watch after watching space battles in the MCU and like giant monsters through London. It's
really like such a different part of Marvel that I love. Like,
that's why I like it. That's why I'm like kind of okay, even though I would love to see Spider-Man and Daredevil team up. I'd also be fine if they brought it back and they never teamed up, just as long as I get to see that like story continue with those characters.
What movie? So if it was in like other people's movies, like what would you want to see? Like who would you want to see other than Spider-Man or something like that?
I probably wouldn't even care to like see. Even in Spider-Man, I'm like, it would be cool to see like a cameo, but I don't want it to be like an integral part to the story.
Yeah.
Where like, oh, it's a buddy cop thing, kind of.
Yeah.
Like I don't even care to see that, but like a cameo, like there's the thing going around where Peter Parker goes into Nelson and Murdoch's office.
I saw that.
Like something like that would make me really excited.
That'd be super cool.
But
like a Doctor Strange thing for Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah. Just something like small. Like
so what I'm hearing you say is you'd like for them to pop up in other movies, but you would rather than so you do want them to stick with just to return the show.
If they have, no, I'm just saying like if they have to, like if that's their only way of kind of like continuing on this show, then do it that way. Because I know that Disney's really like iffy about. I mean, they've made this Spider-Man very light. There's some dark moments, but it's a lot more lighthearted than all of the other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
So it's hard to see like, them taking a character like Daredevil or Kingpin, who's literally smashed a guy's head, like repeatedly until it was mush.
Dude, it's
kind of interact with the character
car
like
door,
Peter Parker.
Like, he chopped up, him and his mom chopped up his own dad.
Yeah, so it's hard to see that
happening
and making sense. Where these can kind of come together.
Yeah, that's the hard thing with that stuff.
Yeah, but that's why I say like Daredevil and Punisher, those characters are just really refreshing to watch.
Yeah.
As opposed to
yes, blood and gore, so refreshing.
It's just like it's very serious. It deals with like very serious matters.
Well, Punisher is so like so military based, and then Daredevil is so like just like that low like that scummy crime ridden thing. Like it's just such a different
very
vibe.
Like Batman vibe. I think minus
Daredevil is definitely Marvel's Batman.
Yeah,
we know that and Moon Knight.
Yeah,
that's why people thought like Moon Knight would be perfect to be in like a Netflix show.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Wasn't there a rumor about that?
There was, yeah. I'd love to see Moon Knight in the MCU at some point. It would be really cool.
Makes me wonder what they're going to do, because it's probably going to be next week. San Diego Comic-Con starts next week. It's next weekend. So we're probably going to get a Phase 4 announcement. I would imagine they're going to at least
it was on the night of the 22nd or the 21st.
Yeah.
So it's this weekend.
No. Is it
6 days? It's
today. Oh yeah.
Today's
the
15th.
Yeah. This weekend. That's kind of what I mean. I got my weekends mixed up.
Yeah, you think
I keep
Sunday.
thinking it's Sunday. Yeah. So this weekend we're gonna get some sort of San Diego Comic-Con Marvel Studios panel.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be big. Yeah, I'm just really curious to see where they go with movie selection. Yeah. I think definitely next year is going to be Black Widow and Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
They only have 2 slots for movies next year. And then maybe the following year they go Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Strange.
I think out of any movies that I'm excited for that we are almost guaranteed that I know to happen are I'm most excited for Black Widow and Doctor Strange.
They also have Guardians 3 that they're going to be working on eventually.
Yeah. I'm not super like Black Panther 2 could probably be really cool, but I wasn't.
I think Black Panther 2 is going to be another year.
Yeah, they're going to be a little.
I feel like Guardians will be before that happens.
I think so as well. Do you think it'll be before Captain Marvel 2 happens as well?
I think Captain Marvel 2 is going to really get pushed pushed ahead.
I think it's going to get pushed ahead a lot, mainly because Captain Marvel is such a weird character, kind of going back to that like within the MCU, because there was this movie that came out just so she could be in Endgame, but it's like Endgame was like so many years in the future, so you have this big time gap of like, okay, what was she doing? Do you want to explore that time period? Do you just want to go further in the MCU?
Can we talk spoilers for Far From Home yet? It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Spoilers
just
for
spoiler warning for Far From Home. Yeah.
The post-credit scene for Far From Home.
Yeah,
with scrolls and stuff.
Scrolls and everything.
That kind of like leads me to believe that
that's going to tie to Captain Marvel.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel is going to be one of the next. Not next year. I definitely think it's not next year. I think Shang-Chi is what I've heard the most about production starting.
Yeah.
And then obviously Black Widow's already started shooting.
I'm really
so that's
excited
probably
for Black
next year. Those are going to be towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I think like August and November are their movies. I can't remember. And then the year after, which will be 21.
This came from the Disney like movie release schedule where it said like untitled Marvel movie, untitled Marvel movie, untitled Star Wars movie, stuff like that. Okay, yeah.
And then they have 3 slots open for 21. So we could possibly have Guardians 2, Captain Marvel, and Doctor Strange.
Dude, if they don't give Doctor Strange a sequel, I swear to God.
Well, it's been a while for him.
2016.
Yeah. insane.
And Doctor Strange, after Infinity War and Endgame, big character.
Yep.
And one of my favorites in the MCU.
He's one of the characters that got like a big applause too for the movie when he would come out.
Yeah, when he came back to the portal, they were like, well, because like they knew like he was. I think people applauded so much is because like he kind of orchestrated it all. If that makes sense.
I want to watch that movie now.
Endgame.
Yeah,
dude.
I was just thinking about just that coming out of just like scene. the little thing starting just the little portal. Yeah,
on your left. Yeah.
It's so funny when we were watching that movie. It never occurred to me because I was so caught up in what was happening.
Yeah,
it never like dawned on me that
everybody's
these characters
alive.
are supposed to be coming back.
Yeah,
like I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I was just like so into the moment between Cap versus Thanos.
Yeah,
and then when it started happening, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm like all of these characters are about to
see.
come here.
I was like, I was kind of the same way, but as soon as it was just Cap left, I was like, they're all alive. They're gonna come through the portals and all of that stuff.
See, I forgot that he did the snap to bring everybody back.
It was still like it didn't take away from that moment at all. Like I was just like, this is what we've been waiting for.
The great thing that the movie does is it doesn't give you enough time to think when are the new people going to come back.
Yeah.
Because as soon as he snaps back, then you get the strike from Thanos.
Yeah.
He comes through that portal, and then they get bombed.
Yeah.
Basically, so you never have like your mind goes, oh god, they need to attack back.
It's not like let's go pick everybody up and then,
It's not like where is everyone?
Yeah.
Other than that moment that they have with Hawkeye that kind of lets you know that they're back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't give you like that second to just be like, all right, guys, now everybody come in because it's like immediately back.
Dude, I remember I was absolutely shocked as soon as that missile hits in Endgame. I was like,
there's so much going
I
on.
thought because I was sure that like Ant-Man died. I was like, oh my god! I was like, what happened? But then you can see him shrink. You actually can see him shrink in the movie. So I was like, because I remember I watched it the third time and I see him go, and I was like, oh, gotcha. Smart. I was like, that makes sense. I mean, that's what I figured what was happening, but I was just like, it's so shocking because you're just like, it's so weird though because I'm like, did all the birds and stuff come back too? Because it's like, he's like, I think it's okay. It's not cloudy anymore. I'm like, did Bruce Banner snipe away the clouds? Like, I don't know. Like,
I just love that like silent moment where you just see like the missile coming down from the sky.
I think the what sells it is like you hear the phone ring and then and then Hawkeye's like he can hear his wife and you're just like, but see even in that I was disbelieve it. Like I was just like, I'm like, are they really alive? Like I'm scared. And then like when it bombs, I was like.
From that moment on, like the movie just gets its perfection.
Your heart gets racing. You're just like so like unsure of what's gonna happen.
So much is happening that you're enjoying.
Yeah,
and that's why I like when Tony dies. It like the whole time you're like, yes, this is awesome. All these characters and everything like that. And then Tony dies, and then you have to shift from being so happy to being like depressed.
Yes,
like so fast, and you're like, I feel so conflicted because this was amazing, but also my favorite character just died. Yeah. It's like
at least he went out in like one of the best ways possible.
Yeah, it's definitely
because that's when you're just like, oh yeah, like this battle's happening. Like, oh, I guess Tony Stark's not gonna die. Like they're gonna win now.
Yeah,
and you're like, wait.
And then I'm like, at least Captain America lived. I'm like, at least we're gonna get more of him.
Yeah,
and then he comes like, back.
Nope.
When he came back, when he was sitting on that bench, did you think it was like skinny version him?
I wasn't sure what was.
I didn't think it was like old man him. I was like, how does did he like go back in time and now he's like skinny again? Like
decided not to like.
Yeah, I was like really confused, and then it turned out he was really old, which is cool. But anyways, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this episode of the Comic Blast podcast.
Honestly, we had a pretty good discussion for having literally no strict points to talk about.
It's good for us to kind of have this like break episode because next week is going to be crazy.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of news.
It's going to be our Comic-Con episode.
This is a nice chill with Grayson and Keenan.
Yeah.
So like I think it's also just because we've been really busy as well, so it's nice to talk. We always have these conversations right before the podcast where like we're always talking about something. There's been times where we've talked for an hour and a half beforehand just talking about stuff, and we're like, we could be recording this. Yeah. And so like beforehand the episode we were just planning out so much stuff that it's like then we hadn't really talked, and so we were like, we have to figure out what we need to talk about this week. And I was like, and then Keenan threw out there, well, we could just talk. Just talk. Like we always find a way to do it anyway. So and I was like, you know what? Screw it. Why not?
No news.
Yeah.
It's good though because next week we're gonna get our butts kicked with news. Like there's gonna be so much news that we're not gonna be able to fit it all into one episode.
Yeah.
We might have to do like a separate video or like thing for like a main topic. I'm sure we're gonna be talking a ton about Marvel Studios because that's pretty much the big thing. We're also gonna get some Star Wars stuff that's gonna happen. So I'm really excited for next week's episode. And then Grayson's off for vacation again.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at comicblast_. We have that giveaway going on over exclusively on Instagram.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really cool opportunity for you to win a copy of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. All that stuff really helps us out.
Yes, please.
Really appreciate it. And you guys have been really awesome about just sharing the podcast and screenshotting it and posting it on your feed. And it's been really cool to see all of that. So yeah, we appreciate it. Anything else you want to add, Grayson?
Dark Phoenix review next week.
Oh my God, dude, we put that off again.
Yeah.
That's what we could have done this whole episode with.
Oh my
Dark
God,
Phoenix review.
that is true. Yeah.
We should have thought about that. All right.
Wow.
If we find a way to get some more time next week, we'll do our Dark Phoenix review.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.